Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Cardoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future, happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809 645 3535 or Shegun on 0812 024 3167 or Daniel on 0802 756 4653. This is not just a conference. It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business. As Nigeria stands at a critical turning point, we move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, Business Day presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum, themed From Stability to Shared Prosperity. Join the nation's most influential CEOs, policymakers, and business leaders with keynote insights from Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Cardoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future, happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809 645 3535 or Shegun on 0812 024 3167 or Daniel on 0802 756 4653. This is not just a conference. It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business. As Nigeria stands at a critical turning point, we move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, Business Day presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum, themed From Stability to Shared Prosperity. Join the nation's most influential CEOs, policymakers, and business leaders with keynote insights from Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Cardoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future, happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809 645 3535 or Shegun on 0812 024 3167 or Daniel on 0802 756 4653. This is not just a conference. It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business.
Pleasure of welcoming great supporters and friends from INMA. He's the president, and then of course L. Wilkinson, and then Doreen is heading the work in Africa.
Honored that you're hosting us today. We look forward to a positive exchange of ideas and strategies to make our industry better. With me is Al Wilkinson. He's President and Executive Director of International News Media Association. All right, guys. And we're happy to have him here. I'll let him tell you guys more about him and why he's here.
I would leave you with the idea about Business Days. No platform can take it. No AI can replicate it. No competitor can buy it. So here's a little advice. Defend it. Build it. Invest in it. Because folks, the decade ahead is going to belong to news organizations that are unmistakably themselves. They're not boring, they're not neutral. Who are you? Answer that question and you'll figure out the next one. Thanks a lot.
As Nigeria stands at a critical turning point, we move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, Business Day presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum, themed From Stability to Shared Prosperity. Join the nation's most influential CEOs, policymakers, and business leaders with keynote insights from Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Kadoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future. Happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809 645 3535 or Shegun on 0812 024 3167 or Daniel on 0802 756 4653. This is not just a conference. It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business. As Nigeria stands at a critical turning point, we move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, Business Day presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum, themed From Stability to Shared Prosperity. Join the nation's most influential CEOs, policymakers, and business leaders with keynote insights from Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Kadoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future. Happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809 645 3535 or Shegun on 0812 024 3167 or Daniel on 0802 756 4653. This is not just a conference. It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business.
Good morning and welcome. This is Business Day Television, and we are bringing you this morning a fresh edition of our program, Business Week, during which we explore some topical economic issues both in Nigeria and around Africa. Our focus today will be on the much debated matter of why FDI is not coming into Nigeria as much as the portfolio investments. We will explore the full ramification of the FDI debate, and I have absolutely no doubt that you would appreciate the effort we'll be making just to delight you this morning. But before we get on, let's remind you of some of the headlines this morning. In what is aimed at boosting food production, the Bank of Industry in Nigeria has started a distribution of fertilizer and seedlings to farmers in 20 states in the Federation. Nigeria's fragile health care system is coming under fresh pressure as the Association of Resident Doctors on Sunday issued a 21-day ultimatum to the federal and state governments to settle outstanding salaries or allowances for their members or face industrial action. On the foreign scene, there are reports that the United States and Iran have reached agreement to pull away from further escalation are Lola, the editor of BusinessDay, and of course, Bumi, the head of Africa Finance Desk. Welcome, lady and gentlemen.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. So, the social media is rife with the debate around how it is that Nigeria seem only able to attract FPIs, the so-called hot money, but failing almost totally to attract foreign direct investment, the more long-term money that comes into the country and stays for a little while, certainly longer than foreign portfolio investment. And Lola, let me hear you first. What is your take on the matter?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yes, as you rightly said, Nigeria has attracted quite a lot of foreign portfolio inflows or investments since the reforms kickstarted in 2023, and typically that's what happens, right? When you've undertaken reforms like that, foreign portfolio investors come first to test the waters before you have foreign direct investment. But the debate is, for a country like Nigeria, given where we are in terms of our development, right, foreign direct investment is considered more important, right, than foreign portfolio inflows, especially in Nigeria's case, where the foreign portfolio inflows have just been going to debt. So that's essentially investors lending money to the government, and that's pretty down to high interest rates. You don't have to do anything special, right? You've got high interest rates, people will lend you money, and then that makes sense. But FDI is patient capital. It takes more time, and it takes a lot more than just interest rates for a foreign investor to commit to investing in your economy. So I think what Nigeria is finding is that there's no easy road to attracting FDI, but people are growing very impatient every day, because one of the ways that the gains of the reforms can actually trickle down to people is if we're able to attract foreign direct investment, because that creates jobs, that boosts the economy, right? So people are really anxious and waiting for when that will happen. But I think it's important that we don't lose sight of the fact that foreign direct investors take their signal from local investors, and and that's why, I mean, most of the cases you see around the world, countries are able to attract very robust foreign direct investment are also the same ones that the local investors also are able to place huge bets on the economy. And in Nigeria now, we're not really seeing a lot of
fantastic. I like your linkage of the cry for FDI to the need to ease poverty through job creation. FBI typically doesn't create jobs. All right. Bumi, what's your take?
Okay, well, let me continue from what Ladi said about local investors.
Yes.
I mean, you're right about the fact that FDIs will always want to pay attention to local investors. Are they investing? And how will local investors want to invest? They will try to see how the ease of business is. Are companies growing? Are entrepreneurs expanding? Are banks giving out loans to boost credits, to increase, create jobs, and to increase economic activities? So all these things boil down. But my own issue is that I feel Nigeria is actually going to be left out. I don't really want to jump to what other countries are doing, but I mean,
you don't have any more.
It's not. I mean, I feel like right now a lot of African countries are trying to get attention of FDI investors a lot, and I feel that Nigeria might not even that concentration. Nigeria might actually lose that focus, because right now Africa is trying to navigate from just exporting raw materials to more of value creation, like value added, to become like an export hub. And the reason why is that, I mean, US foreign aid, when Trump came in January, he stopped. I don't know if he stopped or reduced it, but there's actually been a decline to foreign access to foreign aid to many African countries. Ethiopia used to be one of the largest receiver. I think Nigeria is also among the top 5, and you also have, I think, Kenya and Ghana.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned Ethiopia. Now, in that chart, you know, that we're going to display very soon on the screen, Ethiopia, yes,
I'm going to ask them to
is actually one of the top 10. Yes.
That chart.
Yeah. So they've gone from relying so much on foreign aid to now attracting investments.
And then that's a good story. You also have Cote d'Ivoire too, which people are not really paying too much attention to, because last week in the news we heard that I think Mauritius, one of the biggest banks in Africa, is actually eyeing or trying to enter into that West African economy, and you also have Zenith Bank also trying to go into.
All right, so we have the Africa FDI flows chart on the screen, and that measures how many countries in the top of that chart?
About 10.
About 10 countries, and Nigeria doesn't feature there at all.
It's not there.
So which are the countries? Can we just go through them one by one?
Yeah.
The top countries appear to be
Egypt.
The same country that we always talk about. So there is Egypt at $48 billion.
Yeah.
And then there is Ethiopia at 3.9, approximately $4 billion. There's Cote d'Ivoire at $3.8 billion. Mozambique at $3.5 billion. Uganda at $3.3 billion. DR Congo at $3.1 billion.
Exactly.
Namibia, South Africa at 2.4 billion, Namibia at 2.0 billion, Senegal at 2.0, Guinea at 1.8. Incredible.
Yeah. Nigeria at 1.08.
How does it happen that countries like Uganda, Congo, with all the Ebola affliction, are dislodging Nigeria from the top 10? But let's that's a lot of money that has come into Africa that didn't find its way into Nigeria.
Africa, I think it got about 97 trillion in 2024.
In Naira.
Egypt, like I said before, contributed more than 60%.
Yes,
I mean, if you look at
Egypt is virtually everything.
Yeah, Nigeria is, I think, 1.08, and that's a decline from about 1.8 in 2023. That's, I think, when the reforms started, right? So my own is, what's our outlook for 2025? Like,
let's before we go to outlook, let's deal with one question, and the question simply for me is, what amount of FDI? Because we started by looking at how FDIs help to create jobs, and job creation help to reduce poverty. What level of FDI should Nigeria, seeking a $1 trillion economy, what level of FDI should Nigeria be targeting to be able to make that difference in terms of job creation?
Yeah, good. So typically, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. If you just look at some countries that have attracted significant FDI,
Egypt
that has turned the economy
over 40 billion.
Yeah, you typically look for a range of between 25 to 40% of GDP. And that would be total private investment, right? Local and foreign direct investment. Local investment typically takes the larger chunk, and then
so
foreign investment
GDP at $300 billion.
Precisely.
20% would be $60 billion annually from local and foreign investment.
Precisely. So out of the 60 billion, and you're looking for a situation where maybe 40 comes from local and then 20 from foreign direct investments. But if you look at where we are, we just saw the chart, 1.07
below 2 billion.
Yeah, so you see we have a long way to go if we really want to start attracting about $20 billion per annum.
So what we're saying in effect is you need oil for an engine to run. And without that oil, the engine cannot run, or the engine will break down. Why are people surprised that there is still such a high level of poverty in Nigeria when the engine has no oil to run?
Yeah, it's I mean, how I see it is, I think we've gotten so used to
no, we just said petroleum subsidy gone. And we think that jobs will come. In fact, I think those two policies have to kill some jobs.
Yes, absolutely, because a lot of businesses closed down. They couldn't deal with the more than 500% increase in petrol prices since 2023. So it's been, massive wreckage really. But the truth is, I mean, you've had some bright spots, and that's why it really hurts me when I think about how Dangote was treated, the early days of the refinery, because you've got a man here who's making a $20 billion. We just said now conservatively that Nigeria should aim to attract $20 billion per annum.
And one person
Egypt is doing double of that.
Yep.
Let's not forget. So that's very conservative, right?
Yep.
And one person is committing 20 billion, and he had to battle his way to really, to finally to spend that kind of money. Foreign investors are looking at that.
Exactly.
That's Africa's richest man. He's the son of the soil in Nigeria. If he has to fight that hard to spend or to invest $20 billion, then they are thinking, then what would be our own fate? So those are the things that, we do sometimes that just means, it just looks like we take some steps forward and back.
Well, we're going to come to how Nigeria can position itself to attract the quantum of FDI or quantum of investment that is required to create jobs. I recall in 2019, just before COVID, I was sitting in a hotel room where the then Vice President, Professor Shibajo, was staying, and there was going to be this was at the in Davos at the World Economic Forum. It was meant to have been the launch of some textile initiative by Nigeria, but very quickly the debate turned to how do you ensure that those who announce intention to invest in Nigeria are handheld by government from the time they make that investment until that investment is made and consummated. And Dangote was in the room, and I don't think he saw as much as he has seen since then. But clearly he was making the point that people make announcement that they want to invest in Nigeria, and then they run into a lot of shark-infested waters.
Yeah.
And a good number of that announcement just died.
Yeah.
Since then, we haven't had any initiative to benefit from that suggestion. That is an initiative that demonstrates understanding that the Nigerian investment climate is still very tough, and that the government, if it cares about investment and, as you say, job creation, it needs to find a way to sweeten the path for those who are capable of investing in Nigeria. What do you think?
Yeah. Bumi, want to go?
In fact, before what you just said now, something just came to my mind right now.
Please.
When the reforms were implemented in 2023,
yes,
did Nigeria put structures in place or anything in place for us to enjoy the long-term or short-term benefits of the reforms?
I don't think it did, which is why there's been a lot of criticism about how a good policy was rolled out very badly.
Because the reason why I'm saying this is looking at what Egypt did, right? I mean, when they devalued their currency almost the same time as Nigeria, they discovered that, okay, what do they have comparative advantage of, right? Do you understand, to become an exporting hub? I know they are very big on tourism, right? They're also big on hydrocarbons and all that. But what I'm just saying is that what they now had to do was to bring down inflation, and what they did was to reduce the cost of production. So what is Nigeria doing in that side? I mean, if you look at what Egypt did, I mean,
because the reforms did the opposite.
That's what I'm saying.
Spiked
poverty. And what's even interesting that in Q1, Egypt recorded the lowest unemployment rate on record. They are now enjoying the benefits of what they did almost 2 or 3 years ago. So my own is, what is that Nigerian? What are we doing? What are we doing?
It's a good one.
The truth is, and I think we need to focus on this. There is no joined up thinking in Nigeria. You don't have. The government is working in silos, different ministries with different policies. And unfortunately, the people who should be supervising the ministers are not doing the right work of asking the right questions and then leading the entire team in a direction. There's no joined up thinking.
Absolutely.
Which is why it's scatter as fella.
Just to piggyback to that point you made earlier, sir, quite important, the hand-holding. I think we don't appreciate that enough, that, the government needs to play that role of ensuring that local investors are able, first, before we even talk about foreign investors, are able to invest. Remember, if you look, BMW's largest market today is in China, right? How did it all begin? You know the story. Now, BMW, when they wanted to invest in China, didn't just go directly in there.
Okay.
Instead, they partnered with a local Chinese auto firm called Brilliance Auto Group, right? They partnered with them. That helped them clear the path. Now, Brilliance, obviously, being on the ground in China, the local guys obviously had a lot of support from the government and all that. So that translated into support for BMW as well. And today, BMW makes billions of dollars in sales, in car sales from that market, because you already had a situation where the local investors were thriving, and it was easy for a foreign direct investor to come in, partner with a local firm to invest. And that has, of course, as you know, transformed the Chinese economy. China is the second largest recipient of FDI in the world today. Just because the government is very intentional about positioning its local businesses, so that they are, they're doing well, and then they're able to get those type of...
Manufacturing was one of the major things that helped them to even reduce poverty.
Yes.
Lessons from China.
So the examples are all over the place, but there's no coordinated thinking. People are working in silos. There's no real concerted effort to really tackle this.
What I'm saying.
The president talks about $1 trillion economy, but has not outlined his vision of the path to achieve to reach that goal.
Quite easy.
And I think, in all honesty, the president has a lot of blame here, and those around him. If your ministers are working at cross purposes, it is the duty of the head of the team, the minister, the headmaster, to call everybody together and say, well, listen, we're not going to achieve a $1 trillion economy if we continue this way. Why not work together and create a shared vision, so that everybody can be singing from the same hymn book? And then, on the basis of that, create a monitoring team that meets either weekly or monthly to just monitor and evaluate the compliance with that vision that the president himself has set. You look at it, what's the economic goal for Nigeria? I don't hear anything.
No.
What's the president's economic
agenda?
I don't hear anything.
Yeah.
And they are surprised that people are angry and upset that there's so much poverty in the land.
Our last National Economic Development Plan lapsed in 2025, and we've not had any. We're already in 2026.
So the plan
was not even crafted by this administration.
And
they haven't done anything. They haven't thought about it.
So it means that Nigeria has no economic vision.
Absolutely.
It's just wandering in the wilderness.
And that's why that's why it's easy for people to work in silos and work, across.
Because they're not sure.
Because there's no clear, there's no unified
glue.
vision precisely that brings them together. So everyone is doing their own thing, and it's a pity, really.
Just a question to ask here. Sorry, if maybe you kind of, I don't want to, because in the 70s and 80s, how was the economy like? Because I think I saw in the news last week that the government wants to ban importation of textile. That has been up and down. And when I saw the news, I was like, this again. Like, can't you guys go beyond import ban?
No, now
you want to talk about...
We're just reacting.
Reacting. The textile. And textile is one of the major contributors to manufacturing. But sadly, that sector has been in recession for almost 2 years now, right? So the reason why I'm bringing this question is, how were industries like? Because I heard in the 70s and 80s, you had about close to maybe more than 200 mills, right? But now you only have 3. And interestingly, 2 are run by Chinese. Indians.
Oil happens.
But Bumi, just to answer your question, how was it that in the 70s, we made more progress than we are making at the moment? First is that you had better people in government. You had people who were not consumed by politics, as is the case today. But more importantly, there was a clear vision. There was a clear direction. I mean, whether you are starting from the time of Chief of Bafemi Awolowo, who had a clear idea when he was finance minister, took Nigeria through the war without borrowing. But you are talking about what has happened long after that. One of the things that you must credit the military administration, although no one wants military government anymore, with, is the fact that because it was a unitary government, not just in name but in purpose, it was able to coerce everybody behind the common objective. And the common pursued that agenda. But then we had our 5-year development plans. Every 5 years, there was a development plan that outlined the overarching
Vision
objectives of the country, and then got people behind pushing it. And then there was also humility. Gowon as president, Gowon was president, head of state at 29. So again, part of our problem is that we're getting people into government at an age where they are too old and cannot perform. And Gowon was humble to say that money was not our problem. The problem was how to spend it, which meant that he knew that money was not the issue. Money by itself does not bring growth. It is how you spend that money that brings growth. We have had leaders lately who are too arrogant and presumptuous and don't accept that their ways are not bringing about the defined objectives, and they are doing absolutely nothing, to reset the agenda. Without any question. I mean, look at the 3 Lagos bridges, first, second, third mainland bridge, whether you talk about the Eko Bridge or Qatar Bridge. Look at the expressways in Lagos. Have you seen any new one lately? Even in the time of democracy, where we have a voice, but our voice adds up to nothing, And to make it worse, you seem to have now, at every stage, a National Assembly that is worse than the one it is replacing, in terms of policy interrogation and in terms of refining policy pronouncements from the executive. The legislature that we have today is the worst since 1999, without any question. And it is unfortunate. I think it's
getting progressively worse.
I think it's the MI of Kano that said, if you went around Nigeria randomly and you picked 109 people, put them in the Senate, their work will not be worse than what we are getting from the people that we have elected, today. So that is to answer your question, Bumi. We are no longer honest with our people. We're not truthful anymore. And population has exploded and made the little that we have unlikely to meet the needs of the people if we were honest and sincere with spending the money. So you have a bigger need, smaller resource, and then a government that is dishonest and disjointed in approach to things.
Wow.
If no wonder people are coming from victory.
That's a lot to take in at once.
It is. At this point, we will take a break. And when we'll come back, we'll come to look at, how other countries are powering ahead, attracting more. We showed a chart earlier of 10 top FDI countries. Nigeria is absent. Why is Nigeria continuing to be absent from such charts? We should be occupying number 1, number 2, given the resource
size of our population, the market,
the need that we have, and the market that we have today. Well, we will go on break at this point, very briefly. We'll be right back. We've been talking about FDI and the crisis of FDI in Nigeria. Please don't go away.
As Nigeria stands at a critical turning point, we move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, Business Day presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum, themed From Stability to Shared Prosperity. Join the nation's most influential CEOs, policymakers, and business leaders with keynote insights from Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Kadoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future. Happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809 645 3535 or Shagun on 0812 024 3167 or Daniel on 0802 756 4653. This is not just a conference. It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business.
Pleasure of welcoming great supporters and friends from INMA. He's the president, and then of course L. Wilkinson, and then Doreen is heading the work in Africa.
Honored that you're hosting us today. We look forward to a positive exchange of ideas and strategies to make our industry better. With me is Al Wilkinson. He's President and Executive Director of International News Media Association. All welcome, guys. And we're happy to have him here. I'll let him tell you guys more about him and why he's here.
I would leave you with the idea about business days. No platform can take it. No AI can replicate it. No competitor can buy it. So here's a little advice. Defend it. Build it. Invest in it. Because folks, the decade ahead is going to belong to huge organizations that are unmistakably themselves. They're not boring. They're not neutral. Who are you? Answer that question and you'll figure out the next one. Thanks a lot.
We are back. This is Business Week, a program brought to you by BusinessDay Television. Before we went on break, we were exploring the matter of FDI and why is it that Nigeria is absent from the list of the top 10 African countries attracting FDI into their economies. We have looked at a number of dimensions of that, including how it is that the government doesn't seem to be joined up in its thinking, government departments working in silos, and the net effect is that you don't have the government working to handhold potential investment into the country to make that investment happen. Now, we're going to continue our conversation and perhaps to see if there are lessons that we can learn from around the world, around Africa. We are now mindful of the fact that in Nigeria, we don't need to go to Europe and America to look for good examples of what is working well. If we look around ourselves carefully enough in Africa, we will find good examples to learn from. So what are African examples that we can talk about? We see Egypt occupying #1 position, attracting almost 65% of total FDIs into the continent in 1 year. So Lolade, what in your view are the good examples that Nigeria can emulate from around Africa?
Yeah,
I mean, how to attract
yes. I think you started off with the right one. Egypt. Egypt has been on top for like 3 years now, if not more. I know quite a lot of the investments they've been getting has been coming from the Arab countries, but you can't take away the fact that Egypt has undertaken some reforms. They've stayed the path, because what is important for investors beyond even incentives like lower taxes and all of that, predictability is important. Enforcement of contracts, things like that, property rights. Investors want to be sure that if they come in, they do their survey or their scanning of the environment, they want to be sure that the policies that they are coming in on the back of will be sustained. So they want predictability. They don't want surprises, so that they can effectively plan. You know what I mean? So if that is the case, then it means that what is important for Nigeria to learn from all these other countries that are, that have been able to attract a lot of foreign direct investment is, policy consistency. That unified voice we talked about as well that is missing. It needs to be there. It needs to be clear to everyone which direction we're pulling in, so that it's clear. Because truth is, and that's why it's such a pity that we don't have any national economic development plan at the moment. Because to my mind, if I look at the numbers, what I see is that Nigeria has gotten to the point now where we need more private investment than ever before. Right now. Than ever before. Yes, we are celebrating that we have recorded higher revenues today, but if you look at it in dollar terms, is there real growth there? I don't think so. If you look at how much the federal government was earning in 2010 compared to what it is now in dollar terms, it has more than, it has declined sharply.
With a population that has
so you see, the money, the revenues we're making is shrinking. But we have
in naira, it's rather big.
But in dollar terms, in real terms,
it can buy
precisely.
the real value of
all of that has been wiped out by, the exchange rate devaluation that we've seen, and then inflation as well. So in real terms, not much. So we're at a point now where we need to
and what does that give you? Poverty,
and that's where we are.
And more poverty.
Over 130 million Nigerians living in poverty. So it's important that it's clear to everyone that Nigeria is at the point now where we need to go all out to get private investment. It's the only thing we can do. It's the only way we can survive, right?
Okay, let's get to the point. We said that even foreign investment need local partnership to make them to happen. We aren't seeing. There was a story BusinessDay did last week about how Nigerian companies are piling a lot of cash. So rather than expand, rather than make new investment, Nigerian companies are keeping the cash.
And it's never a good sign.
Does the government see these signs?
I hope they do, because it's never a good sign. Given that there's a considerable, we need investments now, and businesses are sitting on a pile of cash. But it speaks to two things. First is that they don't see the real avenue for growth. That's what it means. So they are thinking that if I expand, are they takers? Do we have
especially when you look at the high inventories?
Precisely. Do you have purchasing power? Exactly. So that tells you a story about purchasing power already that has been decimated in Nigeria. So they don't see real opportunity to invest, and that's a pity. And you now find that increasingly companies that should be thinking about expansion, creating jobs and doing that, they are more satisfied packing their cash in T-bills. Precisely the same thing that the foreign investors are doing as well. So that's why it's important that we establish that correlation between local investors and foreign. The foreign investors tend to go where the local investors are going. Local investors are going more into the debt market. They're investing in government treasury bills, bonds. They're not expanding. They're sitting on a pile of cash. Foreign investors are feeding off that energy and also investing in the debt market. They don't see real.
There is an organization that I am familiar with. It has, in the last 6 months, been trying to create an umbrella body for Africa. And eventually, they have succeeded in creating it. The primary motivators are from West Africa. And so they had to make 3 choices. First choice was, who will head this Africa setup? They chose a Nigerian lady. Second choice was, where should we register this organization? Because, as I said, the primary, movers were West African. They didn't think about going to Mauritius. They didn't think about going to Rwanda, that is increasingly now presenting itself as an alternative to Mauritius. They chose Ghana.
I want to stay in West Africa.
And the question was, why Ghana? they said it was easier to register an organization in Ghana than it is in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
It's so sad.
Yeah. Absolutely.
For an organization that had chosen a Nigerian CEO, moving all that, capital and everything to Ghana.
Yeah. The country is failing.
What's Ghana doing right?
What's Ghana doing right?
Yes.
I mean, for example, we've talked about Ghana before.
Yes.
Last year, they were the major top performers last year because of the surge in gold, right? I mean, they've seen that, okay, the increase in gold, demand for gold has even helped to improve their currency. That's the CD. I mean, for the first time last year, their currency appreciated for the first time in more than 30 years, and that gives a signal to a lot of investors. So when they saw an opportunity that they have there's a demand, there's demand for gold, right, because of the high cost and all, and export has increased. Okay, what do we do to improve gold production, which is what I said earlier? That's an opportunity. So what they did was to stop a lot of illegal minings were always happening in Ghana, which was actually affecting production. So they had to bring a lot of things in place to be able to tackle that illegal.
So they crush illegal mining
aspect.
as much as was
That
possible.
is what they did, which is why I said, what is Nigeria doing? Because the reason why we should look at now is, if you look at Africa is flushed with natural resources right now. And also, I talked about the US foreign aid. It's no longer coming to Africa. It's even declining at a very increasing rate. Many African countries are now waking up that, we cannot continue to rely just on the foreign guys. And for us to get foreign investors, we need to improve our economy. By improving our economy, we have to also improve local production. What do we do by improving local production? We have to also improve local businesses. This is why I did a story last week that talked about how DRC Congo, which is interesting, they are the top 10. They are launching their first stock markets. One of the world's poorest countries.
Yeah, launching that.
It signals a lot to investors that you are serious for you to even start up a stock market.
They're partnering with the IFC, right?
Yes, they're partnering with the IFC.
So what you're saying is increasing competition for investment capital.
Yeah,
He's
but
growing.
Still on what Ghana is getting right. I think there's also a lot of intentionality on Ghana's part. The Ghana Investment Promotion Commission goes all out, not led by the president now,
Mohammed,
goes all out to court foreign direct investors.
But
they prioritize.
the president did quite a number of trips. So the problem is maybe they were not properly coordinated and they were not result oriented.
And there was something that Ghana also
because before you go abroad looking for capital, you have to sort out the mess at home.
And I think the problem that some African countries did, like Ghana, was because they were trying to also grow their economy, then they limited foreign participation. So what they did, which Mohammed had to stop, was that there was a limit that, like for example, you come into a company, there's an amount you can actually invest. So they had to increase that threshold. And Mohammed, I mean, Mohammed, thank you. He came in for like last year as his first. So he had to do a lot of road trips, like talking to investors that we need.
That will change some of these rules. You can come in now.
Effective communication with them. He wasn't just going to sit on his seat and wait for them to just come.
And
he had to just go there.
And you know the thing about
that intentionality that we need this kind
Ghana needs just a little effort to get a lot of result. Nigeria needs a lot of effort because of perception and reputation issues to get results. And these are very salient points that our leaders apparently are not.
I feel for me, I think that the wait and see approach, like you talked about, companies not expanding, might be a very long time, because when the Naira was devalued, it wiped out the gains of a lot of multinationals, manufacturers. They were badly hurt. It's just now they're recovering back to profits. But that is not enough for them to want to, expand or bring in more capital.
Where's the demand?
They need that trust.
Where's the demand?
I mean, if a manufacturer is coming into, a foreign manufacturer is coming, they'll be like, I want to set up a business, or I want to set up a factory for like 10 to 20 years. Would that be able to survive? We talked about the number of businesses that we have, but now they don't even stay up to 5 years. Businesses that are being set up is not even up to, they keep shutting down.
Let's begin to pivot towards what Nigeria must begin to do immediately. Where should the government of Nigeria start today? we said that to attract foreign investment, you must first attract local investment.
Precisely.
So where or what, in your view, should be the first steps towards
Attracting.
making progress in attracting investment?
I think it's addressing the pain points of the local businesses first.
So can we begin to identify some of these pain points and what government must do about them?
Ease
So
of doing
we-
business. Ease of doing business. The massive infrastructure deficit that God has made it. Yes.
What else?
The ports. And that's another
Unnecessary
problem.
bureaucracy,
Yeah.
whether it's at the ports or
The ease of moving things in and out. That's another big problem. So the port is a big problem as well. But the truth is, and I feel like, with the tax reforms, there was a slight decline in our tax rate now. But I
from
think that's
30
not
to
enough.
25%.
Yeah, but
That's
I
not
think
enough.
that's not enough at all.
Especially given the
The
context
truth
of
is,
the issues.
precisely, the truth is, if a foreign investor were to make a decision on which country to invest in, and he has to weigh between the tax rate and maybe the ease of doing business, he will always go for the ease of doing business. If I'm assured that I will, thrive in that market, then I might
Then
not bother so much about the tax rate.
tax.
Precisely. But if I'm going to be stifled, then it will cost me an arm and a leg, really, when it's time to pay the tax, even if it's low.
Yeah.
The US is the largest recipient of foreign direct investment in the world, almost $300 billion per annum. We saw that chart earlier.
Yeah.
Now, the US federal tax rate is 15%. It's quite high, you would say, right? But the truth is, foreign direct investment will still flow in there because there's predictability.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a real market, there's predictability. You don't need to be worried
You're not
about
dealing with the basic things like power, water,
You're not dealing with
security,
that. So there's a real
road
market there.
infrastructure.
Precisely. So even if Nigeria decides to drop its tax rate today to 10%, if you don't address some of those problems that just make it so difficult doing business in the country, then you still will not get the local investors.
Fantastic.
Won't
So,
get the foreign
yes.
investors.
So what should Nigeria be doing, Nebo?
Sorry to. Do you know that some African countries that have higher VAT rates than Nigeria, they have lower inflation rates? What does that tell you?
So you see that it's not always about that; it's about productivity. Yeah,
So there is a lot
yeah.
beyond lower tax
Yeah.
And some of
regimes.
these
Yes. But how people tend to
purchasing
think that's
power
all it
even
is about.
higher.
So,
that
so
signals a
the
lot.
inflation rate in Nigeria has become a big issue,
Yeah,
The inflation,
Yeah.
and of course the cost of money.
yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I think what Nigeria need, for me, the first thing I would do is to settle. I don't want to put myself in that seat. Is to identify the type of investors we want to attract, like those sectors.
Or the sectors that you want
those sectors that would
investment,
generate
and how do you
jobs in
debottleneck
thousands or millions
of jobs?
And one of those sectors we've talked about is
Manufacturing has to be. You have done tons of stories on that. Low
Yes.
manufacturing jobs.
And
Manufacturing.
I'm sure agriculture will fish.
Agriculture.
Which is what many African countries are trying to do. They are trying to move from a resource-based economy to more of value creation or value added, more like a agro-processed economy.
We're talking about African countries, but if we look at Vietnam, Vietnam is not an African country, but if you look at Vietnam, Vietnam, has already maybe created a template for us in Nigeria, because similar situation, right? In the 80s, Vietnam, ravaged by
It
war.
was a hopeless
situation, hopeless, absolutely hopeless. But they started rebuilding gradually. They opened up the manufacturing sector. They started to think, wow, how can we position ourselves?
Look at sectors where they have comparative advantage,
precisely,
improved entry into those sectors.
That's it, simple.
Textile
Comparative
was one of
advantage
those-
and
textile
textile
was one of
manufacturing.
those sectors
Yeah.
we used. So for
And
Nigeria,
technology now,
for
increasingly,
Nigeria,
chips
for
are made
Nigeria,
there.
for example, what are the sectors that contribute to the manufacturing sector? Manufacturing sector is not even going up to 5%. It's not even, I don't even know when
No,
But we're not serious.
double digits. If you look at the major contributors, well, thanks to Dangote refinery that are coming, is actually helping the manufacturing sector, right? But apart from Dangote,
then you probably have a negative.
textile and cement are the major contributors to the manufacturing sector.
Yeah.
Look at textile, for example. I said earlier that I was surprised to see that the textile industry is in recession. For 2 years now, they've been in recession. What is the government doing about it? We've talked about
banned import
several
of textiles.
interventions that they've been doing.
Okay, all right.
But
Let's begin to
that
round
is not
up.
even
The
showing
point that I've had is that we need, as a country, to identify key sectors into which we must attract investment.
Yes.
And one of the things you want to look at in identifying those sectors are where jobs
Comparative
will be
advantage.
created,
Yes.
where you have comparative
Yes.
advantage. And then beyond that, you probably need to create a commission to drive the objective.
Yes.
A commission with presidential mandate that helps to galvanize the work in that regard. As I said, debottleneck the process with executive orders to change rules, to change laws,
Yeah.
create smart and better regulation. One of the things that continue to baffle me is why is it that power generation and power supply through the grid has remained the same since 2013? It's simply incredible, despite the humongous sums that we have spent. I'm not surprised that a former minister was jailed for almost 100 years. It's a place that people go and become rich and then leave the people in even more darkness.
Yeah.
Wow. Could that be the reason why the electricity sector is underperforming?
Of course, yes. Why wouldn't I mean? There's no interest. There's no interest to develop anything. The interest is to go and chop.
Exactly.
So that's it. Okay. All right. So identify the areas or sectors, create a commission with presidential mandate, applying executive orders to debottleneck or clear the cobwebs in their path, and then ensure that the president himself, the commander-in-chief himself,
leads from the front.
He leads from the front.
Yeah.
He takes direct interest in what is happening, chairing weekly or monthly review evaluation meetings to ensure that the targets that he has set are being met, and where they are not being met, to mitigate the obstacles on the way. What else do they need to do as we begin to bring the...
we're talking about a commission. There's the NIPC, right?
Yes.
The Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission.
Yes.
It was very well run under Mrs. Yewande Sadiku, who used to be the head of private banking at Standard Bank.
Yeah.
It was, the kind of work that she did then in terms of just positioning Nigeria. She had challenges and all of that, right? But you need... NIPC was like a one-stop shop.
Very focused. Had the direct
precisely mandates to just do whatever she needed to do, and then she had the clientele as well, speaking to the right people, telling them about Nigeria. I remember that there was an event in Singapore, I think it was in 2018. She was there. She made a fantastic presentation talking about this and that, come to invest in Nigeria. It was great. But then there was I think it was a Swedish man just sitting right next to me, and then he tapped me and says, "She's from Nigeria. Are you from Nigeria?" I said, "Yeah, I'm from Nigeria." And he showed me his phone. It's like, she's here talking about all the brilliant things about Nigeria, why to invest, but Nigeria just slapped MTN with a fine, and that's not a good look. I remember, and then I was trying to explain to him that, well, these things, I was like, well, there are always ways to work closely with your local investors so that you don't end up sending the wrong signal to foreign investors.
You must look at the overarching objective.
Precisely. Even when they've done something wrong.
Fires.
Precisely. There are better ways to manage it. Why is this such a big deal that Nigeria is doing, punishing MTN in this manner? I remember that conversation came up. So a lot of the work we really need to do to attract FDI really starts from how the government today treats local investors, how the government is able to clear the path, whatever obstacles on that path for local investors to thrive. A lot of it relies on that, because foreign investors, if they're coming, they call the local guys first. What's going on in your country? And if the message is one of doom and gloom, then they're never going to come.
All right. So yes,
sir, when you talked about the recommendation, I just questioned in my mind. Is Nigeria being run as a public entity or as a private entity?
And given the Nigerian case, there's a big difference.
Yes.
All right. Clearly, we haven't just moaned about the problem. We have provided very clear path to solving that problem. I believe that if we don't deal with the situation of power in Nigeria.
Not going anywhere.
In fact, there are two ways, two types of power. Power is electricity. If we don't deal with it, we're not going to make a dent in attracting foreign investment.
True.
Secondly, power. If we don't deal with how we use power to bring about progress, rather than just play politics with it, we are not going to make progress in Nigeria. And you'll continue to have Nigerians being chased out of South Africa, being chased out of Ghana, being chased out of Malawi, being chased out of Europe and America. That's going to continue. Nigeria used to be a country where people from around the world came to go to school.
Yeah.
So it wasn't always like this. Bumi, you who are keen to know how things happened in the past. And I also believe that what we're talking about here is not rocket science. It can be done.
Yeah.
The Malaysians say there is a way they will find the will.
Absolutely.
The Nigerians are looking for the will and they never find it. So again, you can see what countries do to make progress and what we fail to do as a nation, despite the desire of our people to make progress. You can see why poverty continues to grow in Nigeria despite the resource endowment. And you can see why the Nigerian people are so frustrated with governance, because they see their situation worsen rather than getting better.
Yeah.
And politicians themselves get frustrated by the people thinking they don't appreciate the work that they have made. But in truth, we are like just one step forward and two steps backward in many ways. Nigeria can be a great country, and that's the desire of everybody. We have a large population. The resources to cater for that population is declining in terms of its purchasing power. Is the reason why government must think harder and harder. Government must become more rigorous in ensuring that we can extract the juice from every kobo that is available to government. So attracting FDI is not a rocket science, but Nigeria doesn't seem to have started on the path to actually challenge countries like Egypt and others in Africa that are attracting the most direct foreign investment. This is where we will bring today's program of Business Week to an end. We hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please join us again on Monday at 9 a.m. Bye-bye.
I am, of course, a great admirer of the impeccable credibility, professionalism, and business savviness of BusinessDay. If you really mean business in Nigeria, start your day with BusinessDay.
BusinessDay is West Africa's leading provider of business intelligence and information, delivering premium content across diversified media platforms, including online, mobile, and print. Since its inception in 2001 with a weekly newspaper production, BusinessDay has expanded its reach to provide exclusive content accessible through print, mobile, and online channels. At BusinessDay, our mission is clear: to be the foremost provider of business and financial content, empowering readers to make informed decisions in Nigeria and Africa. Since our establishment, we have been committed to delivering insightful, relevant, and accurate information about Nigeria's business and finance environment, while contextualizing the impact of global events. We monitor the stock market, analyze the companies driving it, and report on government policies and their economic implications. From decoding market trends to dissecting economic shifts, we offer actionable investment ideas and serve as a compass for decision makers navigating complexity. Beyond headlines, Business Day fosters discussions on critical economic issues through impactful conferences and events. These platforms bring industry leaders together to share narratives that drive innovation and spark meaningful dialogues. Our events galvanize connections, bridging the gap between inspiration and achievement. For businesses seeking visibility, our strong digital presence offers unparalleled opportunities, with millions of followers across social media and a dynamic website attracting visitors from within and outside Nigeria. Business Day is the ideal platform to boost visibility for your products and services. If you're looking for in-depth analysis and expert opinions on Nigeria and Africa's business landscape, Business Day is your guide.
Pleasure of welcoming great supporters and friends from INMA. He's the president, and then of course L. Wilkinson, and then Doreen is heading the work in Africa.
Honored that you're hosting us today. We look forward to a positive exchange of ideas and strategies to make our industry better. With me is Al Wilkinson. He's President and Executive Director of International News Media Association, all the way from Ghana. And we're happy to have him here. I'll let him tell you guys more about him and why he's here.
I would leave you with the idea about business days. No platform can take it. No AI can replicate it. No competitor can buy it. So here's a little advice. Defend it. Build it. Invest in it. Because folks, the decade ahead is going to belong to huge organizations that are unmistakably themselves. They're not boring. They're not neutral. Who are you? Answer that question. You'll figure out the next one. Thanks a lot.
I am, of course, a great admirer of the impeccable credibility, professionalism, and business savviness of Business Day. If you really mean business in Nigeria, start your day with Business Day.
Business Day is West Africa's leading provider of business intelligence and information, delivering premium content across diversified media platforms, including online, mobile, and print. Since its inception in 2001 with a weekly newspaper production, Business Day has expanded its reach to provide exclusive content accessible through print, mobile, and online channels. At Business Day, our mission is clear: to be the foremost provider of business and financial content, empowering readers to make informed decisions in Nigeria and Africa. Since our establishment, we have been committed to delivering insightful, relevant, and accurate information about Nigeria's business and finance environment, while contextualizing the impact of global events. We monitor the stock market, analyze the companies driving it, and report on government policies and their economic implications. From decoding market trends to dissecting economic shifts, we offer actionable investment ideas and serve as a compass for decision makers navigating complexity. Beyond headlines, Business Day fosters discussions on critical economic issues through impactful conferences and events. These platforms bring industry leaders together to share narratives that drive innovation and spark meaningful dialogues. Our events galvanize connections, bridging the gap between inspiration and achievement. For businesses seeking visibility, our strong digital presence offers unparalleled opportunities, with millions of followers across social media and a dynamic website attracting visitors from within and outside Nigeria. Business Day is the ideal platform to boost visibility for your products and services. If you're looking for in-depth analysis and expert opinions on Nigeria and Africa's business landscape, Business Day is your guide.
I am, of course, a great admirer of the impeccable credibility, professionalism, and business savviness of Business Day. If you really mean business in Nigeria, start your day with Business Day.
Business Day is West Africa's leading provider of business intelligence and information, delivering premium content across diversified media platforms, including online, mobile, and print. Since its inception in 2001 with a weekly newspaper production, Business Day has expanded its reach to provide exclusive content accessible through print, mobile, and online channels. At Business Day, our mission is clear: to be the foremost provider of business and financial content, empowering readers to make informed decisions in Nigeria and Africa. Since our establishment, we have been committed to delivering insightful, relevant, and accurate information about Nigeria's business and finance environment, while contextualizing the impact of global events. We monitor the stock market, analyze the companies driving it, and report on government policies and their economic implications. From decoding market trends to dissecting economic shifts, we offer actionable investment ideas and serve as a compass for decision makers navigating complexity. Beyond headlines, Business Day fosters discussions on critical economic issues through impactful conferences and events. These platforms bring industry leaders together to share narratives that drive innovation and spark meaningful dialogues. Our events galvanize connections, bridging the gap between inspiration and achievement. For businesses seeking visibility, our strong digital presence offers unparalleled opportunities, with millions of followers across social media and a dynamic website attracting visitors from within and outside Nigeria. Business Day is the ideal platform to boost visibility for your products and services. If you're looking for in-depth analysis and expert opinions on Nigeria and Africa's business landscape, Business Day is your guide.
Hello and welcome to the big story right here on the Business Day television breakfast show. My name is Elizabeth Musa. Oil palm has long been a major part of Nigeria's agricultural story. Once one of Nigeria's highly exported products, oil palm continues to remain a major part of Nigeria's agricultural story. And today we've got joining us a very, very distinguished individual joining us in the studio this morning. But we'll take a quick break and be right back for more.
Pleasure of welcoming great supporters and friends from INMA. He's the president, and then of course L. Wilkinson, and then Dory is heading the work in Africa.
Honored that you're hosting us today. We look forward to a positive exchange of ideas and strategies to make our industry better. With me is Al Wilkinson. He's President and Executive Director of International Media Association. All welcome, guys. And we're happy to have him here. I'll let him tell you guys more about him and why he's here.
I would leave you with the idea about business days. No platform can take it. No AI can replicate it. No competitor can buy it. So here's a little advice. Defend it. Build it. Invest in it. Because folks, the decade ahead is going to belong to news organizations that are unmistakably themselves. They're not boring. They're not neutral. Who are you? Answer that question and you'll figure out the next one. Thanks a lot.
Hello and welcome to the big story right here on the Business Day Television Breakfast Show. My name is Elizabeth Musa. Oil palm has long been a major part of Nigeria's agricultural story. Once one of the world's leading producers, the sector has faced challenges ranging from limited processing capacity to gaps in investment, technology and market competitiveness. Meanwhile, countries like Malaysia have built a globally recognized oil palm industry by developing stronger value chains, improving production systems and creating international trade partnerships. Following discussions around market access and trade collaboration at the recently held Malaysia Market Connect in Lagos, questions around the future of oil palm, value addition, and Nigeria's place in the global market have come to the forefront. So what can Nigeria learn from Malaysia's journey and how can partnerships reshape the future of this sector? Well, joining us this morning is Prince Olawale Suleiman, as the president of Malaysia's Traders Market. Thank you so much for joining us, Prince Suleiman.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving us your time this morning, this lovely Monday morning. It's good to have you. Now, let's talk about oil palm, which remains a major economic commodity globally. Looking at Nigeria's history with oil palm, where do you think the country stands today?
Thank you so much, David, for giving me the privilege of being on this program this morning. Yeah, Nigeria has a rich history with oil palm, as we all know, being one of the largest producers and exporters in the world. In the 60s, we were leading in the world as the #1 producer of oil palm. However, over the years, the sector has faced challenges, including competition from the sales of crude oil and neglect of agricultural sector and issues related to infrastructure processing. Today, Nigeria is still a significant player in the global oil palm market, ranking among the top producers. But however, we all know it has not yet regained its former status as one of the leading major producers of oil palm. The country has a very huge potential for growth, especially due to our favorable climatic condition and growing domestic market, considering the consumer market in Nigeria. Recent government initiatives too and investment in agribusiness could enhance productivity and competitiveness. Well, in summary, Nigeria stands at a crossroad. It has the potential to reclaim its presence in the oil palm industry, but this will require a strategic investment, improved infrastructure, and a focus on sustainable practice.
Thank you, Prince Suleiman. You've alluded to the fact that Nigeria was once a dominant force in oil palm production, but we've seen Malaysia now has grown into one of the biggest players globally. As a matter of fact, second place after Indonesia. What change and what lessons can Nigeria take from Malaysia's experience going forward?
Okay. In my own opinion, Nigeria declined in oil palm production, while Nigeria declined definitely, we all know. I mean, from leading country in the 60s to maybe number 4 or 5 these days. While Malaysia rise can be attributed to several key factors. I lived in Malaysia in the past 25 years. And I learned a lot from Malaysian palm plantation development. So one of the major reasons, one of the major areas where Nigeria can learn from Malaysia is how Malaysia invested. So Malaysian government invested heavily in research and development, leading to adoption of high-yielding oil palm varieties and improved farming practices that help the growth of Malaysian oil palm industry. While on the other hand, Nigeria lacked similar investment, as we can see today. We have the potential, but yet we lack the investment power to grow our production. Then we talk about government policies too. Proactive policies and incentive supported plantation development and export, including land access and subsidies, are one of the major implementation of Malaysian government that really help Malaysian palm plantation industry. Unlike in Nigeria, it is our inconsistent policies and regulatory challenges have made it difficult for farmers. Another crucial area to look, again, where Nigeria can learn from Malaysia is infrastructure development. Malaysia, they have a robust infrastructure in place for processing and transportation for efficient production and export of their oil palm industry. Whereas in Nigeria, it is quite obvious that the infrastructure is very poor, and that has limited our access to the market. Then we look at another factor here, where we can also look into learning from Malaysia, organized farming. Malaysia, the Malaysians, they have established a large estate and cooperative streamlined production to reduce costs in their palm plantation development. And in Nigeria, what we have is a fragmented farming structure that has limited economy of scale. So another area we can look is sustainability practice. Malaysia focus on sustainable practice. Malaysia's focus on global market acceptance for them. Whereas in Nigeria, we still system to enhance that in palm.
Prince Suleiman, please permit me to come in here. Just on the conversation. Yes, I can hear you, but permit me to come in here. One of the conversations, right, that built up from the Malaysian Market Connect engagement was about strengthening market access and, of course, building business relationships. So, how important are these partnerships in opening opportunities for the sector?
Can I hear you well?
Yes. Do you need me to repeat my question?
That's right, please.
Right. So I said that one of the conversations which came up from the Malaysia Market Connect engagement was really about strengthening market access and building business relationships. So my question is, how important are these partnerships in opening up opportunities for the sector?
One of the areas we can look as potential opportunity for us is developing a better relationship in the oil palm industry with Malaysia, which will help us with connectivity with the palm industry to catch up with our position in that industry. And I think Malaysia has taken the lead in this area. We have a large agro plantation development organization from Malaysia on ground in Nigeria, that is Agro Nexus, who are partnering with Nigerian palm plantation development companies to by bringing in funding for agro development, and also by providing ready-made demand market. I think if we work more on connecting with Malaysian palm industry as the number 2 leading palm development country in the world, achieve a lot of benefits from them that will help our palm plantation development grow and our oil palm yield.
Fantastic. We also I think it's also important for us to talk about the millions of Nigerians who are involved in farming, in trading, and processing oil palm. What sort of support do small and medium-scale players need to compete in this modern global market?
Okay, supporting small and medium-scale players in Nigerian oil palm sector is essential for enhancing their competitiveness in modern global market. And let's mention some key areas of support that could be here, such as access to finance. Nigerian oil palm industry need access to finance. They need finance and loans in place, establishing accessible credit facilities tailored for smallholders can help them invest in a better, can help them invest in tools that will increase productivity in seeds and technology. Then grant and subsidies from government to play a major role, and the World Organization. If you consider the fact that Nigerian soil is very fertile for palm plantation, Nigeria is a very profitable investment in palm plantation. So the government working together with foreign organizations to be able to provide grant and subsidy as financial assistance for input and infrastructure development can definitely elevate initial investment body. Then we talk about training and capacity building. This goes a long way too, such as technical training, offering workshops on modern farming practices and pest management and sustainable agriculture can enhance productivity in this sector. Then we also must consider business management, training in financial literacy, marketing and supply chain management can definitely empower small players to run their operation more effectively. We should also consider the infrastructure development too. Roads that leads to plantations and transportation facilities, all these definitely help. Then we talk about the processing facilities for this product. These are all things that help the market to grow. Then market access information through collaboration with countries like Malaysia definitely will also help this industry to grow in Nigeria, and cooperative development is quite a huge potential too here. Thank you.
Right. You've done well to also speak towards some of the opportunities that you see for businesses and entrepreneurs within this oil palm value chain. Now, let's talk about something that is becoming more prominent in the global market, and that's really sustainability. We are seeing that more conversations around sustainability are being had. So let's talk about quality, sustainability, traceability, and all of that. How can Nigeria position itself to meet these expectations that the global market is demanding for right now?
Okay, I think what I can say in this area is that to meet the growing global demands for sustainability, quality, and traceability, Nigeria can adopt several strategic approaches, such as sustainable farming practices, agroecology and agroforestry, promote integrated farming system that enhance biodiversity and soil health while reducing reliance on chemical input. These are very, very important in this area. Then we talk about certification scheme too. Encourage farmers to obtain certifications like the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil, the RSPO, to demonstrate commitment and sustainability. Then we talk about quality improvement too here, which plays a major role. Invest in R&D, research and development, to develop high-yield, disease-resistance palm varieties and better processing techniques. This is quite relevant here too. Then training programs, creating training programs, implement training for farmers on best practice for cultivation and harvesting to improve product quality is very, very essential. Then we don't have to forget looking into traceability system too. I mean, digital platform systems that help to monitor agro production. I mean, technologies. I see blockchain being implemented in agricultural development business in India, which is something we should also look into here. That that ensures transparency in sourcing and production of products and enhance traceability, allowing consumers traceability of palm oil products.
Fantastic. Just because we have to go right now, Prince Suleiman, just a final question, 30 seconds of your time, please. If Nigeria gets the right investment and partnerships, can oil palm become one of the major sectors driving exports and economic growth? Just 30 seconds. Yes, no, why?
Of course, yes, definitely. We all know that. If you go to Malaysia today, and you come off your flight at KLIA, which is Malaysian International Airport, from that point onward towards the main city of Kuala Lumpur, when you look your right and left, it is all plantation. So if Nigeria secure the right investment and partnership, oil palm can indeed become a major sector, driving exports and economic growth in this our country. I think if we can put more energy in oil palm than we have put in crude oil, considering the fact that the world is moving away from gas to electric to energy system, empowering machineries and other things, which eventually most of these come from palm product. I think it will definitely move our economy towards right direction. Let me indicate some areas where we should look, where it can really help our potential. Today, there is high global demand with increasing global consumption of palm oil. Nigeria can tap into market, especially if it focuses on sustainable and high quality products, just like Malaysia does. And that is one of the major factors that is growing Malaysian oil palm demand around the world. So diversification of export, expanding oil palm production can help diversify Nigerian export portfolio, reducing dependency on crude oil, like I earlier said. So another area we should look into is the job creation that it brings. Rural employment is one area. Investing in oil palm sector can create jobs across value chain. We all know that. From farming to processing, distribution, benefiting rural communities, even in the urban areas, because the shops that sell palm oil products from palm plantation will also make a lot of sustainable living from that. So we talk about skill development. Training program can enhance skill, fostering a more competent workforce.
Thank you very much, Prince Suleiman.
Thank
you so much for your time this morning on The Big Story. It was truly insightful speaking with you and hearing all about the opportunities present in the oil palm industry. Thank you so much. We hope that more Nigerians and more young people who catch on to these opportunities present. But I do wish you a very lovely day ahead. That's why we'll leave it this morning on The Big Story. We've examined Nigeria's oil palm industry and its race for global competitiveness. My name is Elizabeth Musa. Up next is Social Listening. Do stay with us.
Pleasure of welcoming great supporters and friends from INMA. He's the president, and then of course L. Wilkinson, and then Doris is heading the work in Africa.
very honored that you're hosting us today. We look forward to a positive exchange of ideas and strategies to make our industry better. With me is Al Wilkinson. He's President and Executive Director of International Media Association, all the way from Ghana. And we're happy to have him here. I'll let him tell you guys more about him and why he's here.
I would leave you with the idea about business days. No platform can take it. No AI can replicate it. No competitor can buy it. So here's a little advice. Defend it. Build it. Invest in it. Because folks, the decade ahead is going to belong to huge organizations that are unmistakably themselves. They're not boring. They're not neutral. Who are you? Answer that question and you'll figure out the next one. Thanks a lot.
As Nigeria stands at a critical turning point, we move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, Business Day presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum, themed From Stability to Shared Prosperity. Join the nation's most influential CEOs, policymakers, and business leaders with keynote insights from Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Cardoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future. Happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809 645 3535 or Shegun on 0812 024 3167 or Daniel on 0802 756 4653. This is not just a conference. It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business. As Nigeria stands at a critical turning point, we move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, Business Day presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum, themed From Stability to Shared Prosperity. Join the nation's most influential CEOs, policymakers, and business leaders with keynote insights from Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Cardoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future. Happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809 645 3535 or Shegun on 0812 024 3167 or Daniel on 0802 756 4653. This is not just a conference. It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business.
I am, of course, a great admirer of the impeccable credibility, professionalism, and business savviness of BusinessDay. If you really mean business in Nigeria, start your day with BusinessDay.
Business Day is West Africa's leading provider of business intelligence and information, delivering premium content across diversified media platforms, including online, mobile, and print. Since its inception in 2001 with a weekly newspaper production, BusinessDay has expanded its reach to provide exclusive content accessible through print, mobile, and online channels. At BusinessDay, our mission is clear: to be the foremost provider of business and financial content, empowering readers to make informed decisions in Nigeria and Africa. Since our establishment, we have been committed to delivering insightful, relevant, and accurate information about Nigeria's business and finance environment, while contextualizing the impact of global events. We monitor the stock market, analyze the companies driving it, and report on government policies and their economic implications. From decoding market trends to dissecting economic shifts, we offer actionable investment ideas and serve as a compass for decision makers navigating complexity. Beyond headlines, BusinessDay fosters discussions on critical economic issues through impactful conferences and events. These platforms bring industry leaders together to share narratives that drive innovation and spark meaningful dialogues. Our events galvanize connections, bridging the gap between inspiration and achievement. For businesses seeking visibility, our strong digital presence offers unparalleled opportunities, with millions of followers across social media and a dynamic website attracting visitors from within and outside Nigeria. BusinessDay is the ideal platform to boost visibility for your products and services. If you're looking for in-depth analysis and expert opinions on Nigeria and Africa's business landscape, BusinessDay is your guide.
Pleasure of welcoming great supporters and friends from INMA. He's the president, and then of course L. Wilkinson, and then Dory is heading the work in Africa.
If it's sparking conversations, then we're bringing it to your seat. Welcome to the social listening segment, where we bring you the stories, debates, and movements generating conversations across social media. My name is Elizabeth Musa, and now let's get into what is making waves online. For the first conversation today, residents of Kurawa and neighboring communities in Sabon Birni local government area of Sokoto State have alleged that suspected bandits planted another improvised explosive device along the Sabon Birni Kurawa road following fresh attacks on villages in the area. According to eyewitnesses, dozens of armed bandits riding motorcycles invaded Kurawa village at about 1 a.m. on Sunday, where they allegedly killed one resident and carted away valuables, including livestock. These explosives were planted in a bid to delay response from security operatives and have claimed the life and left several persons injured. Let's get some of the reactions online. Well, I mean, there's some posts online, but I'm not sure we can really see some of those posts that we have online. But we can just move on to the next story. Our next conversation today says Senator Oluremi Tinubu has faced backlash after a roadside business remarks amid rising poverty and economic hardship. She highlighted a 50,000 grant given to over 37,000 women for low capital ventures like selling bean cakes, corn, and kuli kuli, which are Nigerian snacks, totaling 1.85 billion naira through a renewed initiative video. Now, this has sparked a lot of remarks on social media. Critics have called the advice tone deaf, given the high inflation, unemployment, and the rising cost of living. Let's see the video and take a look at some of the reactions to this story.
We're trying to give hope, and to start akara business doesn't take a lot of money. To start roasting corn, or somebody even said about grant, you see they're saying that kuli doesn't take much. We didn't give them a loan, we gave it to them as a grant. So we've encouraged Nigerians as best as we could. What is within our hands, I have given, and I keep giving, and those are the things we've done. I remember giving for TB. When I heard there's so much TB cases, I gave 2 billion. To breast cancer, I gave 1 billion. To food malnutrition, I gave 500 million. So those are the things we've been doing, and making sure we can make sure that whatever this government is trying to do, that it will see the light of the day. So in agric we've done, in social investment we have, in education we've given a little bit of scholarship, ICT training, and with NIDA. So, and all those are things, and we are still open, still want to do more. The narrative has really changed, has changed to challenge the average man, whereas the average man is supposed to have hope. So I like the idea that Mr. President said this is the renewed hope agenda. We have to renew our hope, and that's how we renew our hope, and that's what I have to tell Nigerians.
Thank you very much.
You don't give up.
About all of our contributions to the renewed hope agendas, donating to malnutrition, donating on different fronts really. And then she also did mention that a Nigerian can take a little bit of that money and invest into ventures like selling bean cakes, which is akara, corn, and kuli kuli. But we'll take a look at some of the tweets, the remarks on social media, because this is social listening, and that's where we take a look at how Nigerians are reacting to certain stories. Graham Law 3 says she has these beautiful business ideas and couldn't advise her husband Tinubu to leave politics and start akara and kuli kuli business. That's a sarcastic remark there from Graham Law 3. Do we have more reactions? Sunday Fortica says it's unfortunate that Nigerians are being subjected to pains with economic hardships and insecurity under the APC government led by President Tinubu. Prices of everything have gone up beyond the reach of Nigerians due to policies and reforms that are putting Nigerians into pains. Let's see if we have more reaction to this story. Oloye Shonibare says thousands of people sell akara, corn, bread, and more, and they're doing well. However, some of you dismiss these ideas due to laziness. Next time you see an akara or corn seller, stay and observe their income for an hour. Some of them earn more than bank employees. But I do agree with Oloye on that post. But I think that it's all about, I think it's also the direction in which this is coming. We're talking about graduates. So we know that we have the informal economy, which are these people who sell akara, the ones on the street. And truthfully, there is a lot of opportunity in the informal economy. But are we completely trying to wipe away the effort of the people who have been in the formal economy, the people who have gone to school and studied for 5 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, some even 6 years because of ASU strike and whatnot, and they've gone on to serve the country and do all of these things. Certainly, their plan was not to be a part of the informal economy. Their plan was to be a part of the formal economy, white-collar jobs. So we should be talking about providing more jobs for young Nigerians and providing not just more jobs, more profitable jobs. Yes, and right, it should be a thing where people want to take on, you know, selling akara and bread or whatnot. I like I mean, I'm trying to just corroborate all of the comments. I like the person that says, oh, did you tell your husband to also start this business, or maybe because maybe if we craft it right, education is a major driver. Maybe if we craft it in a way that it looks more appealing, it's not going to seem like, why will I go and study and then I'm going on the street selling akara or selling kuli. But that commenter who said that some of these people are making a lot of money, I do agree with that actually. But I think we have to talk about the infrastructure that actually makes these things, you know, look more sellable. You know, there are a number of brands which I wouldn't mention, which are selling these things and packaging them in a very modern way, and they're probably making so much more money because they've used their education to now make it more attractive. Some of them are even important. So I think we should not shoot the messenger. You know, maybe it's a case of a little bit of shooting the messenger, but it's all good. We have to move on to our next story right now. Our next conversation this morning is all about Nigerian women, Nigerian woman Habibat Salawuddin Iyovijak, who is attempting to set a Guinness World Record for the longest Bible reading marathon. Now, she's targeting 144 hours in Port Harcourt in Rivers State. And we'll take a look at at the video and come back.
When a case comes, do your work in the fear of God. Be dependable and honest in your duties. When a case comes before you involving any of your fellow citizens, whether it seems large, like murder, or small, like matters of interpretation of law, you're responsible for warning them that they're dealing with God. Make that explicit, otherwise both you and they are going to be dealing with God's wrath.
Congratulations and well done to Habibat for attempting. It's never easy to put yourself out there. That's one thing that we need to understand. And she put herself out there. Whether she gets to win, which I do hope she does bag this record. And even if she doesn't, she's a winner in my eyes because she put herself out there. Now, this record attempt tagged 144 hours in the world began on June 22 at Novotel in Port Harcourt and is expected to conclude on 2nd of July, which is just a few days to go under official Guinness World Records guidelines. Now, Senior Pastor Dr. Andy Osakwe of the Summit Bible Churches worldwide also endorsed this attempt, saying it was more than a bid for a world record, but a spiritual project extended to exalt God's word and inspire believers. But let's see what Nigerians are saying to this story. That's a comment from Don Tobechukwade. He says, this is Guinness World Record I will support with everything I have. I can't wait to see it happen. Do we have more reactions to this story? A man with foresight said, is it live? Can it be watched? That's a question that will certainly be answered. Alabi Olushe says, the Lord is the strength. Well, so far so good. What we see is lots of well wishes from Nigerians. Nigerians are very good people, always with a lot of love. You need to really have how do we say it in colloquial terms? You need to really have gone to the extremities for a Nigerian to be against you. So Nigerians are certainly rooting for Habibat. People who don't know her from anywhere are certainly inspired by the guts and what it takes for her to, you know, put herself out there. And she's still at it currently. And she's been speaking the word over the country. So just like the pastor had said, it's beyond just a record. It's also the fact that she's inspiring many people to read their Bible. I do hope we will see perhaps a challenge of the longest Quran reading or the longest, you know, whatever. We have traditional religions as well. I do hope we're going to see a lot of these things. But congratulations to every Nigerian that has attempted to win a Guinness World Record and has won a Guinness World Record. It takes guts, it takes grit, and it takes a rare type of dedication to put yourself out there and get seen. Right, on that note, we'll take a look at our final story today. Our final story has Nigerians expressing so much shock after videos of severe flooding in Bagada Expressway in Ikeja and Ikorodu emerged online. We'll take a look at this video, and it's quite sad that this has left one question in the minds of Nigerians. And the question simply is Lagos state getting submerged underwater? That's a big question to ask, but we'll take a look at the video. A reality for so many Nigerians, not just this morning, but all through for the past 1 month or so. There have been loads and loads of Nigerians, lots of Nigerians who are finding themselves somewhere, somehow stuck in the flood with the rains, because Nigeria, Lagos precisely, is an aquatic city. So we're seeing a lot of people having to deal with the rain and the floods that comes with it. Usually it's always majorly seen on the island, but now we're seeing that it's also in Bagada and certain places on the mainland. And then it really makes you ask a question: if we hope that Lagos is not being submerged underwater. Truly, we hope, truly hope. But this is also a sign for the Lagos State government to do something about the drainage systems in Lagos State. The drainage systems in Lagos State are nothing to write home about. They are stuck. They are filled up with refuse, bottles, all sort of garbage. And it's worse than when we do the environmental. We bring them out of the drainage and don't pack it away. So when it rains, the dirt go back into the drainage. It's just a cycle, a very vicious cycle that continues. Hopefully, Lagos State government takes action. You need to take action, serious action, not a one-off type of thing. Action that we're talking about, work that will go on for a long while, so that we have a permanent, long-lasting result. But we'll leave it there today. Well, that's why we'll leave the conversations this morning on the Business Day television breakfast show. Of course, we started off with a business week, and of course, we saw what we had on business big story, speaking all about the opportunities with oil palm, and then we've seen what we have on social media space. But that's where I'll leave it today. My name is Elizabeth Musa. Until tomorrow, stay safe.
Pleasure of welcoming great supporters and friends from INMA. He's the president, and then of course L. Wilkinson, and then Doreen is heading the work in Africa.
Honored that you're hosting us today. We look forward to a positive exchange of ideas and strategies to make our industry better. With me is Al Wilkinson. He's President and Executive Director of International Media Association. All welcome, guys. And we're happy to have him here. I'll let him tell you guys more about him and why he's here.
the idea about business days. No platform can take it. No AI can replicate it. No competitor can buy it. So here's a little advice. Defend it. Build it. Invest in it. Because folks, the decade ahead is going to belong to huge organizations that are unmistakably themselves. They're not boring. They're not neutral. Who are you? Answer that question and you'll figure out the next one. Thanks a lot.
I am, of course, a great admirer of the impeccable credibility, professionalism, and business savviness of BusinessDay. If you really mean business in Nigeria, start your day with BusinessDay.
BusinessDay is West Africa's leading provider of business intelligence and information, delivering premium content across diversified media platforms, including online, mobile, and print. Since its inception in 2001 with a weekly newspaper production, BusinessDay has expanded its reach to provide exclusive content accessible through print, mobile, and online channels. At BusinessDay, our mission is clear: to be the foremost provider of business and financial content, empowering readers to make informed decisions in Nigeria and Africa. Since our establishment, we have been committed to delivering insightful, relevant, and accurate information about Nigeria's business and finance environment, while contextualizing the impact of global events. We monitor the stock market, analyze the companies driving it, and report on government policies and their economic implications. From decoding market trends to dissecting economic shifts, we offer actionable investment ideas and serve as a compass for decision-makers navigating complexity. Beyond headlines, BusinessDay fosters discussions on critical economic issues through impactful conferences and events. These platforms bring industry leaders together to share narratives that drive innovation and spark meaningful dialogues. Our events galvanize connections, bridging the gap between inspiration and achievement. For businesses seeking visibility, our strong digital presence offers unparalleled opportunities, with millions of followers across social media and a dynamic website attracting visitors from within and outside Nigeria. BusinessDay is the ideal platform to boost visibility for your products and services. If you're looking for in-depth analysis and expert opinions on Nigeria and Africa's business landscape, BusinessDay is your guide.
As Nigeria stands at a critical turning point, we move beyond the conversation of mere survival. This year, BusinessDay presents the 2026 edition of the CEO Forum, themed From Stability to Shared Prosperity. Join the nation's most influential CEOs, policymakers, and business leaders with keynote insights from Taiwo Oyedele, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, and the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Kadoso, alongside a powerful lineup of voices shaping Nigeria's economic future. Happening on the 16th of July 2026 here in Lagos. For more information, call Uchenna on 0809-645-3535 or Shegun on 0812-024-3167 or Daniel on 0802-756-4653. This is not just a conference. It's where conversations become decisions that shape the future of business.
This is Business Week, a weekly program brought to you by Business Day Television.
And we're live from Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, bringing you the latest insights into the stories that matter for business and the economy. I am Deborah Eze.
Onyeka Valentine.
I am Destiny Momo.
My name is Elizabeth Musa.
When you think of business, think no more, think Business Day.
I know that Business Day Television will go places. It is the next big thing that will happen to the Nigerian media sector without a shade of doubt.
Attention business leaders. Want to make informed decisions? Join the ranks of the best with Premium Business Day. Access in-depth analysis and expert opinions to stay ahead. Subscribe now at premium.businessday.ng and unlock premium content. Plus, you get 50% off your first subscription. Don't miss out. Make smarter choices and seize new opportunities. Sign up now and elevate your business game. Visit premium.businessday.ng today.